So this is some pretty interesting news, or pretty interesting development. When I first saw the title, I immediately thought that, oh no, they admitted to when I see they admitted to falsifying records. I'm like, like that they admit that what happened or what went down wasn't really what went down. That's what my mind immediately went to. But the curious case of Jeffrey Epstein. What happened to him? How was he allowed to kill himself? Some people say that he might have been killed, because he did have a lot of information, valuable information on some pretty powerful people. But, we'll never know, maybe, so let's read through what happened. It says the two Bureau of Prisons workers tasked with guarding Jeffrey Epstein the night he killed himself in a New York jail have admitted that they falsified records, but they will skirt any time behind bars under a deal with federal prosecutors, authorities said Friday. The prison workers, Tovin Noel and Michael Thomas, were accused of sleeping and browsing the internet instead of monitoring Epstein the night he took his own life in August 2019. They were charged with lying on prison records to make it seem as though they had done the required checks on the financier before he was found in his cell August 10th. New York City's medical examiner ruled that Epstein's death a suicide. As a part of a deal with prosecutors, they will enter into a deferred prosecution agreement with the Justice Department and will serve no time behind bars, according to the letter from federal prosecutors that was filed in court papers Friday. Noel and Thomas would instead be subjected to supervised release, would be required to complete 100 hours of community service, and would be required to fully cooperate with any ongoing probe by the Justice Department Inspector General, it says. Let's see. The two have admitted that they willfully and knowingly completed materially false count and round slips regarding required counts and rounds in the housing unit where Epstein was being held, the letter says. So they knowingly falsified these records. Like, this wasn't an accident, nothing. They did this on purpose. Why? I guess to not get in trouble. But it's just the whole situation is it's so shady, and it's such a mystery that you can't help but think that this is just like, it all happened too perfectly. They just happened to not be looking. They happen to not be paying attention. It all seems too too good to be true, too perfect. But as it goes down to right here, this explains more of what they did, or what they didn't do. They said prosecutors allege that Noel and Thomas sat at their desk just 15 feet from Epstein's cell. That's not that far. Shopped online for furniture and motorcycles and walked around the unit's common area instead of making required rounds every 30 minutes. So wait a minute. Okay, so I don't know what the unit looks like, so I'm assuming the common area is not near the cells, because if they're supposed to be, it says they're supposed to be making required rounds every 30 minutes, so I'm guessing that means they're supposed to do a head count and a welfare check on every person every 30 minutes, or just Epstein himself. I'm not sure. But if they're walking around, shouldn't they have at least peeked their head in and at least looked at him? Because it says that they were walking around the common area. If I can see a layout of the cell itself or the unit itself, then is the common area in direct view of the cell? Is it near the cell? Like, how? It's just all weird, and it's very, very shady. During 1 2-hour period, both appeared to have been asleep, according to the incident filed against them. Now, that's what everybody initially heard, that the two guards that were supposed to be watching them were asleep. The rest of this stuff I didn't know about. I don't think we all knew about that. Epstein's death was a major embarrassment for the Federal Bureau of Prisons and highlighted major security and staffing issues within the agency. It revealed that the jail was suffering from problems, including chronic staffing shortages that led to mandatory overtime for guards. Now, that can put some weight on somebody. Like, if you're supposed to be doing this all the time, you're in a prison setting, like, that's already a level of not necessarily stress, but you have to be on alert. You know, you have to keep things in check. You have to keep order in a prison. And if you're doing overtime, there's not enough of you. I can kind of see how they could be slacking off, but it's like it was just too convenient, man. It was way too convenient. But if that's the story, if that's how it went, that's how it went, and they let that man kill himself. Let's see, the mandatory overtime, other staff being pressed into service as correctional officers, and that's the end of that. But yeah, that's pretty interesting to say the least. This whole situation is still a mystery. There's still a lot that's, I don't know. It's like even when you get an answer, it's like there's another question that that you need to ask after you get the answer. So yeah. Shout out Fox 35 Orlando for this report. There's other people who reported on it, but they're the only ones that had this title. Yeah, that is bruh. I don't know what happened to Epstein, but this situation is shady. Major shady, bro. Major shady. I'm still trying to figure out how if they're walking around the common area, wherever the common area was, if the common area is near the cell, how did they not look, like at least peek in there something? Like, I don't understand how they didn't even try to check on the man. Whatever. I mean, it is what it is at this point, but still pretty weird. Anyway, what do you guys think about this? Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, like, comment, subscribe, like, whenever you do it, however you do it, wherever you do it, just do it. It's your boy Red X Black, and I'm out. Peace.